Okay, you already know who it is. Father Moo in your area. Blowing up the airwaves live in Taipei, Taiwan. How y'all doing? Welcome back to the big church. Room for everybody in here. Church of Moo. Okay, let's get straight to it. I just want to say hi to everybody. Thanks for coming back. Gonna do a patch today I've been thinking about for a couple days and finally had the time to come in and lay down. And this weekend I'm gonna take another little trip. This time I'm going to Thailand for 4.5 days. Just relax, hit the beach, chill out. So I won't be gone for too long, but I can even bring a little portable modular there with me and see if I can come up with some weird sounds while I'm chilling there. So we'll see what videos that turns into, if any. So today, what are we doing today? Mostly this patch was inspired by me sitting outside and listening to someone's wind chimes, and I thought, yeah, wind chimes are a good thing for the modular to emulate. I don't really want to do a note-for-note emulation. In fact, I've heard a patch that someone else made, which I think is called Wind Chimes, which does quite a good job of it. I mean, it's very digital sounding, but for what it is, it's quite well emulated. That's not really what I want to do today. I want to do more of a free-form interpretation of wind chimes. So, yeah, I'm not going to be going back to any particular instrument and modeling it. I'm just going to develop it as I see fit. My main strategy here is to develop an irregular clock. And I think my irregular clock is going to be built around the clock generator you see there, and then a couple of random pulse generators. Yeah, there's two of them. So you can see I've already dragged the tempo down here to just 40. And I'm going to do something similar with the pulse gens in a second. Going to get them nice and slow down here. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send the normal clock output to one input of the logic processor. Set the logic processor to OR. Then I'm going to use one of the random pulse gens to randomly reset the clock, and the other one to be a random pulse with the clock. So we should get a nice slow click pattern of 40 BPM, but every few bars or so, I hope, I'll adjust the knob as needed, the clock will reset itself. And also, occasionally, there will just be some random pulses from this second pulse generator. So that should make things relatively odd. I'm going to use that to drive sequencer B. And I think I'm going to use the output, the gate output of sequencer B to drive the envelope for this funny little machine. So let's watch the clicks here, going at a pretty straightforward rate, even if it is a bit slow. Let's make it even slower. Okay, seems to have stopped. Well, rather than examining the lights, let's just build the voice and we'll hear it when it wants to make a sound. I think I'm going to use spectral loss today. I said that the other wind chime patch that I heard was very digital sounding, and this is quite a digital sounding oscillator, but I'm going to filter it up a bit, and it may give me some somewhat bell-like tones. I think that's a fair enough starting point. And should we? Let's try an ADSR envelope today. Something a little bit more interesting. If I can get my pulses slow enough, I should be able to have a somewhat more complex envelope than the ones we're used to. Okay, so let's wire this up. You can see I've got a 3-input mixer here. I'm going to try and do a couple of voices today. Rather than, a normal wind chime is 5 or 6 little metal tubes, and they bounce into each other and off of each other, and their contact with each other is one is the striker of the other, or one is the struck, I guess, and that causes them to emit their notes depending on what they're tuned to. So what I'm trying to say is you might have up to 3, 4, 5 voices playing at the same time on a real wind chime. Here we're going to have a maximum of 3. Unless I change my mind, but I don't think I am. Okay. So I'm going to put a lot of the white keys. This is the pentatonic major scale plus an extra B natural there. And I'm going to just randomize this. I'm going to give them a couple extra steps just to be interesting. That randomization seems to have some repeating notes. Let's try that again. And send this to his pitch input. And we'll send the gate out of here, and we should get some notes. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to open up the filter. This might be interesting. Let's try this. It's holding that note for quite long because when this random pulse gen trigs, he stays on. That's interesting. What we've got here is interesting, but it's a bit off. The clock isn't quite giving me what I hoped for. Let's try this. So by switching it to AND, this clock only is allowed through when this guy is in a positive state. Slow as I've got it, I want to divide this clock even more than I already have. I'm going to put it here so I know where it is. I'm going to feed it this, and then divide it. This patching didn't really give me what I was expecting, so I'm going to unplug this. And I'm going to make a clocked random step generator, but I'm going to clock that to the same output that the envelope gets, and then feed that into the spectral shape. So it should change the spectral shape each time it triggers, theoretically. Yep, that's right. Good. Cool. Let's have it open the filter a bit as well when it does that. Why did it go red? I never know why. It's supposed to be holding down the control button, but I didn't press the control button, so I don't really understand it. This setting is not giving me what I want. I liked how it changed the spectral shape. Yep, so you're getting kind of like quieter note there. maybe you have the same feeling as me that this is pulling away from the wind chime tone. We're not getting a very wind chime-like thing, but I think I'm okay with that. So now we just have a random smooth generator telling the filter when to open and close. What should we do for the next voice? I'm kind of inclined to make a noisy voice. So I think I'm going to take noise and I'm going to digitize it. I'm going to turn the quantization off, but do this here. Oh, you know what? This isn't going to work. I've sent enough random signals to that input to know that the smooth randomness is not what I want. What I want is random step generator. So it will change more dramatically and instantly. And will he need a filter? Probably not. Let's just leave it for now. And let's give him an AD envelope, even though he may want a bigger one later. So what's going to trigger him? I wonder if just this could trigger him. I don't really want that gunshot type of sound. So I'm going to try and give him a bit more attack and a bit more decay. That's better. Now we've got a kind of like Game Boy Cloud type thing going. There's a lot of attack there, maybe too much. There we go, that's interesting. I like it. Let's try one more oscillator. Which one is this? That's for doing FM. Let's try Os B. And he's going to use some of the similar things from here. I think I'm just going to put the filter over here. Give myself some more room to operate. So we're going to need more logic and clocks. Okay, so like this one, I want another note sequencer. I'm going to use B again. And for a clock, I'm going to make him his own clock. Instead of this guy resetting the clock, I'm going to have that guy resetting the clock. And I'm going to drop him down to a nice slow tempo. If this still isn't suitably weird, it probably won't be that weird. I can always make it weirder. So let's put the same key quantizer here. Actually, you know what? I'm just copying the exact key quantizer over. Send him a random data. Give him an odd step to be weird. Send his pitch input to the input. Oh, and he's definitely going to need a filter and an amp. So I'm going to give him... Let's give him a multi-mode filter for a change. So we'll use the bandpass filter, just to get a different sound than our other one. And I don't mind using the AD envelope. It's doing a good job on the Game Boy sound. I'm going to keep that up. I might drop in a filter if it sounds good, but let's get it sounding like something first before we go down that route. And maybe a little pulse width modulation. Never hurt anybody. There we go. Send him there. Turn his speed down a little. And we're going to send this gate clock out to the amp so he makes noises. Good. So he's way too fast and regular. Let's get another clock divider in there. There he is. I'm going to divide him by 5, or 6, but let's try 5. It's still very regular, so I want it to be a bit odder. Let's try a logic processor again. What if we just put in a second clock at a different speed? Just drop them right in there. And this is at, okay, this is at 30. Let's see if we put it at 30. Put this one at 40. Oh, well, he's 30 divided by 5, though. So we're going to need this, too. I'll just divide him by 5 as well. And what if we send both of them to this and set it to OR? I don't know what that will give us, but it should be something interesting. So there's the logic processor out, driving the sequencer. Oh, they're almost in time. Oh, that was just a coincidence. That's pretty good. Gonna tweak the A and D here. Does that actually sound better? Can't really tell. Oh, what I should do is I should sweep the frequency of this a little bit. Maybe that'll be interesting. Give it a bit more motion there. I'm not sure I like this long attack. But what I would do now if I had stereo is maybe spread them out, panning randomly in the stereo picture so they would also have more motion there as well. But I can't do that right now. Sorry, guys. I wonder if this will go down to 20. 24. Yeah, that's what the other guy is on as a clock. Okay, well, that's certainly something odd. It didn't really get to become chimes, so why don't we name it? Let's see if this name will fit in my little naming field. What number are we on? 86. Let's call it Chime Meditation. Because it's kind of meditative, and it was supposed to be a chime, even though it never really got there. But yeah, it makes for a nice little random atmosphere. This would also probably sound awesome in one of my complex delays. Or here, why don't I give you a little treat of that right now? We'll just switch this to this. See? Father Boo. Yeah. That's not really what I would call a complex delay, but it gets the job done. Sounds neater now, right? I think so. I swear, I almost like hear it in my head. Like I wish I could. If I did all my programming, in these streams through the delay, it'd be a lot harder to figure out what I was doing because the delay would be obscuring the programming. So I like to keep it mostly dry. But in my head, I feel I can hear how it would sound if it was driving a complex delay or even a simple one like this one. So let's go back to that. Okay. Well, that's about all we got time for today. That was Chime Meditation. It wasn't very chime, but it was kind of meditation. So what matters is if you think it sounds cool, it's cool. And I think it sounds cool. Maybe not everybody does. Could have done a bit more with the noise swashing, I think. But I like it the way it is. Maybe dial the speed down a bit. Maybe that's what it needs. Less frequency. Save it in the synth again. So yeah, I'd like to thank everyone one more time for joining me again for yet another stream. I'm just going to keep on streaming because I love doing it. Keeps my brain active, especially since all I'm really doing here at work is work, and it's nice to dive into the world of sound design temporarily. So thanks for coming on the journey with me, and we'll see you on Sunday. Peace out.